Okay, so if I look back at the reference file, I have this other character. Okay, we want to bring her in and apply the same effect that we did to Black Knight. So I'm going to come back to my project file, and this is how we're going to do this. Actually relatively easy, because when we created her, we used smart objects. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to download this image. I will link to it in the directions on the class website. So I'm going to download, click on download. Oops, we got an error. So let me see, let me refresh the page, Command R, and I will try again. Let me download, and hopefully it will load this time. There we go. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to save this image to my comic book cover folder, my project folder. Click save. I'm going to switch back to Photoshop. Now I'm going to go to File and Open. File, Open within Photoshop. And I want to open that TIFF file we made. I believe yours is called Black Widow from the previous tutorial. We want to open that up, that TIFF file. Doesn't matter what it's named, you just want this file open. We do not want to damage this, all right? So we're going to go up to Image and Duplicate and click OK. That's going to give us a new tab over here. I'm going to go back to the original and close it just so I don't mess it up. Now I'm working on mine, which is called Black Knight Copy. Yours might be called Black Widow Copy. It doesn't matter, okay? Then we have our thumbnail right here. Our smart object thumbnail. We're going to double click to go inside of it. We're going to come back up to our file menu, place embedded, and we're going to pick our image that we just downloaded and click on place. I'm going to place it in our artboard. I'm going to move it up to the upper left like this, and then I want to stay proportional. I'm going to hold shift until it hits the bottom like that, and then I'm just going to drag it so she's about centered in the middle. Doesn't have to be exact, but something like that, and hit return to place. Now we can get rid of Black Widow. We can delete that layer, and we need to select and mask Chun-Li here. It's kind of a long name, so maybe we'll call it like Sidekick. All right, that could be her sidekick, for lack of a better name. So rename it Sidekick. We're going to take any of the selection tools. I'm going to do the rectangular marquee tool, and we're going to do select and mask to create and refine a nice selection. And we're going to let Photoshop do its auto magic select subject. Let that work a few seconds. See what it does. It gets us pretty close, right? I'm going to hit Command 0 just so I zoom in full screen, and you can see there's a couple things missing. So I have my quick selection tool active, left bracket smaller, right bracket bigger, and I'm going to click and kind of drag over that sword right there to bring it back. This isn't transparent, that's color in the background, so I'm going to hold Option and get rid of that. I can see some more gray up here. Option click that. Option click in between there, something like that. Okay. I'm going to switch from onion skinning to on black. And we can see a couple areas where there's some stuff there, some stuff there, some stuff on her toe. That's where we're going to do the refine edge brush. I'm going to refine edge between her legs, along the bottom of her foot, along the edge of the sword like that. I'm going to undo the top one, Command Z. It cut too much off and I don't want to mess with it. Let's see, right there. I'm just going to click a little bit, maybe a little white kind of in the armpit zone. I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. Oh, maybe right here. Those little white spots, okay. I'm going to feather it a little bit just to smooth out the edge, maybe 1.5 pixels or somewhere in that range. Decontaminate colors to get rid of any kind of stray white on the edges. And as always, new layer with layer mask and click OK. Then I can close out of this because I made the changes. I can hit X. It's going to say, do you want to save? And yes, we want to save. It's going to do a little processing. And then now, all of these filter effects are applied. There is a small glitch where the stroke is a little thicker and added that to our image. I'm not going to worry about it. Too much of a hassle to fix. Let's just leave it. And then Command S to save. And that was our copy file. And we can call it sidekick and make sure it is a TIFF. Keep your layers. Click Save. LZW compression. Save transparency. Click OK. Then I can click out of the TIFF. We come into our comic book cover and File, Place Embedded. Pick our new sidekick TIFF and place. She's pretty big. I think in the reference she's a lot smaller, so I'm going to have her right above, her foot right above the margin there. And then I'm going to hold Shift, shrink her down, something like that. Hit return. Let me see if that's pretty close. Pretty close, pretty close. I'm going to take my selection tool. I'm going to click on the Black Knight layer. I'm just going to hold Shift, kind of move her till her finger touches there. And I think that gets a little bit closer to what I had before. Maybe she's in just a little bit. Not too particular. Just kind of line her up like that. I'm going to hold Shift on the sidekick layer and then Shift click all the way down to gradient fill, selecting all of these layers, not background, and we're going to put that in a group folder. So I'm going to click on the little folder icon and call that background. So we got our background set up. We can delete this background layer. We don't need it. Let's trash it. And then Command S to save. Save this file into your comic book cover. We do not want it as a TIFF. We want it as a Photoshop. And click Save. Now we got a background going. Pretty cool. Next tutorial, we're going to start creating the header.